Welcome to Inside the Ring. I should say welcome back. You know you watch this show, boxing's official show of record. I'm your host, Max Kellerman. Joining me to my right, two-time former welterweight belt holder, Andre the Beast Berto. He's in some classic fights. To my left, our world-class informant has returned from his latest reconnaissance mission in Australia. Ring Magazine senior insider, Mike Coppinger.
Back with a tan, Max.
I see that. Oh, you call that a tan? Okay. I mean, it's better than me right now, but that's you with a tan,
man.
Don't
about Shady?
Don't show up without
He's trying to be a brother now. Okay, we got room.
To his left, former all-decade NFL running back, Shady McCoy. You thought he was slippery on the field.
Okay.
Wait till you see these topics go.
Okay.
Time for the lead hook. Canelo Alvarez, guys, he's officially returning to the ring September against an unknown opponent. With Canelo's conqueror, Terrence Crawford, now retired, guys, the Ring Magazine Super Middleweight Championship, Crawford won from Canelo, now up for grabs. And Canelo could put himself in a position to win it back. There are a lot of branches to this story, right? But let's start here. Who should Canelo fight in his big return? Mike, who should he fight?
Who should he fight? I want to see either Hamza Shiraz or Christian Mbilli. I think those are the only
Mbilli
two
fight
fights.
was my fight. You know that was the one.
I said either
Who was the one?
That's not going to happen.
Who brought it up?
That's not going to
You
happen.
have brought it up. I'll give you credit for that.
That's my brainchild.
Look, Canelo can fight, Mbilli for one of the vacant alphabet titles, or he can fight Shiraz for one of the vacant titles if Shiraz beats Pacheco as expected. So, it wouldn't be a vacant title. But either way, those are the two fights that make the most sense. They're both action fights. And if we know anything right from Canelo's long, storied career, he does not like taking on easy challenges.
Well, look, Shiraz is a good fight, but Mbilli Canelo styles-wise is as good a fight as you can make in boxing. Canelo wants you to come to him so he can slip and counter with power, and Mbilli wants you to stand right there so he can go get you. But why, when he brings it up, you say he's never going to have
But
it?
is that a type of fight that Canelo wants coming off their loss? And Mbilli is dangerous, and Mbilli is violent. He isn't going to care about your health, and he's not going to care about his either.
That's the worst part, right?
That's the worst part.
He doesn't care about his own health. He don't care at all about yours.
I just don't think that'll be a smart fight for Canelo. I think the Shiraz fight will be a perfect fight for him.
Listen, man.
What you think, Shady? Talk to me,
I'm a guy that stands by my word, and I put my money by my word. I will give both you guys $1,000 each if he fights Mbilli.
Okay.
What do we have to put up?
Nothing.
You're just going to give
just show up to work.
It's on the
That's
record,
not a
Max.
smart thing to do.
Let me tell you why, right? In all sports, I'm going to go to all sports and then go to boxing. In all sports, when guys get older and they're super accomplished and they make a lot of money and their legacy is already cemented,
there you go.
Why do I even take that risk? I'll give you an example. In football, these older dudes, they try to get away from training camp, right? I've been through that for so long, I don't want to do that. And in basketball, they make all this money, they did so much in their career, you know what they don't want to do? They do load management, right? And in boxing, Canelo Alvarez is one of the most decorated fighters we've seen, right? Talk about money. He got money on money. You come off a big loss from Terrence Crawford that might have hurt my legacy a little bit. And I'm going to go in there with a young monster.
Let me tell you why.
Let me finish. I'm going to go in there with a young monster like Mbilli.
Yeah.
Mbilli? Why would I do that?
I'll make
He's going to fight Shiraz. I'm telling you that
I'll
right
make
now.
the argument because Mbilli might be, easier, you can't use the word easy with Mbilli.
Nothing's easy.
Nothing
But
is easy
it
with
may
Mbilli.
be a more winnable fight than Shiraz. Shiraz is tall with range. Mbilli comes right at you. Canelo at this point in his career, remember when he was coming up, Dre, he used to go to the ropes.
Yeah.
So he could counter you off the ropes with power. A guy like James Kirkland came right at him, destroyed. Right? Then as he got older, he became a seek and destroy guy, but he wasn't that originally. And now that his legs are not the same, he likes guys to come. It's a better styles matchup for him. So I'm reminded, there was a guy, Provodnikov, Ruslan Provodnikov, gave Tim Bradley hell in the fight of the year. I called that fight.
That's a fact.
And Provodnikov, I remember talking to Roy Jones about it. We were both working HBO at the time, and we were talking about something about Provodnikov, who's a very beatable fighter, but the last guy you would want to have to go through hell with. And Roy was like, no, you don't want Provodnikov, even if, yes, there are guys who can beat him, but you're going to have to pay a price. So that's what Canelo, it comes down to. Would you rather fight a guy like Shiraz, who might have a better chance to actually win, or would you rather fight a guy like Mbilli, who's just going to put you through hell?
Did you see Max? I'm with you. If you talk to people in boxing circles, a lot of people will tell you he doesn't want to fight Shiraz, and that's their opinion. Like Max said, he's tall, he's long, He has a great jab. He's a big guy. I mean, he was dying to make 160.
You
Doesn't
think that
matter.
Shiraz is an easier fight for him to win?
Yes, because I'm not sold on Shiraz yet. Yes, he had a great performance against
Berlanga.
what's his name?
Berlanga,
Berlanga.
Amber Williams.
And we talk about the fight game. You're only as good as your last performance. So yeah, he's riding off that hype, but then again, the best fighter that he's fought was
Adames, and he chased him around.
You know what I mean?
The whole fight
and
he chased him around.
It was a draw, but I thought he lost.
He lost.
We all thought
he
he
lost
lost.
that
By the way,
fight.
Shiraz knows he lost.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
that was at
and this-
160.
wait.
He was weight drained. I mean, again, I think he's a quality fighter. I'm not crowning him yet, Dre. I
no,
hear
you
you.
can't crown him.
But-
You can't crown him yet.
He's definitely a dangerous
It
guy.
comes down to at that age, Shady, and you're talking
And I
as a
think he
football
might-
player.
I mean, I think he might respect Canelo a little too much as well.
Who,
And he-
Shiraz?
Yes.
Yeah. Because he clearly has respected Adames
Of
too
course,
much. Yeah.
of course.
But as a football player, let me try to understand where you're coming from.
In all
At-
sports.
At a certain point, but especially football,
Okay.
you hear guys saying at a certain point, I did not want to run through that brick wall anymore.
I think
And even when
Canelo's
people say, well, I could have, I just didn't want to, that's the same thing as saying you can't. And are you saying that Canelo just doesn't want to run through the brick wall anymore, and Mbilli's the brick wall?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
We all think Terry Crawford is a dog, and he ain't ducking nobody, right? You agree with that?
Sure.
And when you bring up the Boots fight, it's like, well, it don't do nothing for me. It don't really do nothing for me to fight Boots.
Right. Yeah.
But to fight Canelo, I'll take that risk. It's something worth it.
Yeah.
There's nothing worth for Canelo at this level to go out there and fight Mbilli.
As a
for
fan,
what?
is there a better fight that you can make in boxing?
I think Shiraz. I think Shiraz.
Benavidez Better Biev is like, that's on my wish list. And I like slick boxers. But sometimes you get a certain styles matchup with guys who come forward that just can't miss. To me, Canelo and Mbilli might be the best action fight you
It
can
might
make in
just be
boxing.
Yeah, for you and us, for us.
Yeah, for us. But I'm talking about you talking about somebody like Canelo. I think it might just be too much for him. He's at home. You know what I mean? He's sleeping on these silk sheets.
Right.
You understand what I'm
And
saying?
Mbilli's not the dude to do
Mbilli
that, yeah.
is fighting like he's, you know what I mean, fighting for his last meal every time. I don't think.
I'm not
I don't
saying
think
it's
Canelo
exactly
wants it.
like this, but Marvin Hagler, after he fought Tommy Hearns in the greatest 3 rounds anyone's ever seen, took on John the Beast Mugabe. I want to say Mugabe was 25-0 with 25 knockouts at the time. And Mugabe was a junior middleweight moving up, and he could box a little bit, but that fight was brutal. It was the last win of Hagler's career. He knocked Mugabe out. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but Canelo and Mbilli has a lot. I think it'd be an even better action
But
fight.
Hagler's not with
I'm
Canelo.
just thinking, though, to you guys' point
Canelo?
on pressure fighters. Don't forget, right? Canelo, a couple of years ago, I was there ringside in Guadalajara. He fought John Ryder, who not as good as Mbilli, but same
Yes.
style, and that was a brutal
And you
fight.
see all the punishment
And
he
I'm
took
giving
in
you
that
credit,
fight.
Dre.
So it's like-
that was a brutal
By the
fight.
way, Mike might have talked me out of that one just now.
You know,
He went
Jay might be
home,
but
right.
guess what?
He went home sore as hell.
Yeah, that was a
And
tough fight.
And that was
thinking
years
about
ago. Now you're talking about Canelo.
Right now.
Dog, you know how much money Canelo got? And I know money's not everything, but it's hard to get up
It's
and do the same
hard,
thing. And
bro.
now I'm going against a guy that once was in my shoes that's trying to get his name out there.
Well, here's
It
why
don't
I
make
agree.
sense.
Here's why I agree with him about Mbilli. Why it's unlikely to happen, Mike.
Oh, we got him over.
Yeah, you did with that John Ryder thing. Mike actually told me, but because on paper, Mbilli is made for Canelo, even at this stage in his career, on paper. But the thing about Mbilli that's different is, number one, his physical strength is unlike other fighters, right? And number two, he matches that with a level of determination. It's one thing to be physically strong. If you're not that, or even to be very determined, but you're not a block of concrete. When you are both, when you are that determined and that physically strong, on paper, Canelo has an advantage, but in the ring, he might be, as Apollo's manager told him before the Rocky rematch, he's all wrong for us, baby. He's all wrong for us, baby.
Canelo
And
is
let's not
not
forget,
trying to have
Max.
those problems right now.
Let's not forget, right, guys? This won't just be Canelo's decision by himself. He has a deal with Riyadh season. He's going to have to collaborate with Turki Al-Sheikh and his team to figure out who he's fighting. And as we've seen, Turki is a big fan of both Hamza and he's a big fan of Mbilli.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted Mbilli on that Canelo Crawford undercard. So that's another reason why I think those are the two main options.
In the last fight, I think Shiraz, he's going to fight Shiraz for sure. But the last thing is with the Canelo thing, why he won't fight
to see the
Mbilli.
Mbilli fight.
It's because at this,
As a fight
Canelo,
fan, for
he don't
sure.
give you a lot of volume no more. A lot of one
No,
shots.
100% he
Oh,
does
you
not.
fight Mbilli, you got to give me that motor because I'm
You're
throwing a
right.
million shots.
Right again. I mean, Martinez is not as good as Canelo, but Martinez is a very good
Yeah, he
fighter.
was good. That was a good
He's a
fight,
very
yeah.
good fighter.
Yeah.
And what Shady said, he was throwing combinations. Not only and also he's a good counterpuncher.
Yes,
but with
was.
Mbilli, you slip. Here come 3 more shots.
It's kind of like what we saw with Dalton Smith against Matias, right? He was throwing so much to keep him off of him. So Canelo would have to really ratchet up that volume.
All right, so that's one branch of the Canelo announcement. Here's another. Has Canelo now entered the phase where he can't damage his legacy because we know he's past his prime, right?
Yeah.
Or, so these are gravy years, right? Like anything he does, you give him credit, and if he doesn't accomplish it, okay, whatever.
That's a fact.
Or is it, look, Canelo, for example, has one of the greatest chins of all time. What if we see him get stopped, right? Like, can he damage his legacy right now? Oof. Can he only add to his legacy, or can he also damage it?
Absolutely, Max. He could damage his legacy. I know people say, well, fighters off of their, past their prime. Let's be real. Roy Jones Jr. tarnished his legacy. It's not fair to Roy necessarily, but when you have a whole generation of people who've only seen Roy getting brutally knocked out by guys like Denis Lebedev and the sort, it's not good. It's not good optics.
This is why. Can I tell a real quick story?
Go ahead.
I was my first HBO fight I think I ever worked. It was Mayweather and Gaddy. And Roy was doing the announcing ringside, and I was up with, doing the desk, the podium, and from the host position. And I mentioned, someone talked about Roy, and I said he was damaged goods. Roy was so mad. He wanted, I was like, Roy Jones mad at me, and I also love Roy. But he didn't like the way it came out, I understand. But what I told Roy, and I meant it at the time, I'm protecting your legacy. I don't want people to think that the Roy Jones who fought Glenn Koff Johnson was really Roy Jones.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah.
There was a clear mark after which, when he came back down from heavyweight, I don't look at any of that stuff.
That's true.
That wasn't Roy.
Yeah.
Roy was before he came back down to heavyweight, right? So that's what I'm
a
saying about
fact.
Canelo.
Yes.
We see he is not the same.
Yeah.
So if he loses, come on, guys. But if he accomplishes more, what it says is he was so great at his best, he's still able to do this.
Yeah, it's all gravy years. I mean, see a guy, he's an 11-time world champion across 4 different weight classes. Of course, he's going to go into the, like I said, like the Boxing Hall of Fame. I mean, all these different things that he's already achieved, everything right now is gravy. But he can't hurt his legacy if he tries to stay around too long.
Because it's the image that people remember.
Of course.
Let me ask you
don't
this
wanna
question,
damage
though.
that.
I want to ask you first.
Talk to me, brother.
When Roy started losing and how it went, did you think it affected his legacy? Roy Jones Jr.? The guy
We
that...
don't want to continue seeing Superman get killed over and over.
So, but I'm saying, but did it affect your opinion of Roy? Because to me, it didn't, though.
It didn't.
Because not so much, because I still remember the Roy that we all fell in love with. I've been to plenty of his fights. I understood, his whole process. And, it still hasn't affected me heavy at that point, but it was just sad to see.
It was sad.
Mike is the only person I will allow to say anything about Roy.
Who?
Mike.
Okay.
Because everybody else I'm punching in the face. Roy was like Superman, though.
Yes.
And at his best.
Yes.
There's nobody touching
I'll give you
him.
an angle you're not considering, though.
Okay.
So when Muhammad Ali was at his best, I just said this when Muhammad Ali was at his best, he was, to that point in history, the goodest heavyweight anyone had ever seen.
My favorite.
He was so good that even Sonny Liston, when Ali couldn't see because of the liniment in his eyes, couldn't do anything with him. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
He was so good you didn't know how great he was.
Okay.
Because greatness is something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Then he came back after he was exiled and he was slowed down. Now we found out, pardon me, the goodest heavyweight ever is also the greatest heavyweight ever.
Okay.
Roy was the goodest fighter, any weight class, of all time.
Of all time.
No one, in terms of excellence achieved, no one ever achieved what Roy achieved. He hit the highest heights. However, when it comes to proving greatness after the fact, had Roy rallied in the third Tarver fight and won a decision, instead of not taking the risks to win a decision, maybe because he knew Tarver could punch, whatever that is, then it's not like I take credit away from Roy, but he would have gotten even more had he rallied to win that fight.
But hold up. Look how long Roy was on top.
Yeah, but you have to. He was so good. Roy was so good that his greatness in terms of the internal stuff never had a chance to be illuminated because no one could test him.
I'm not on. All I say is I'm just going to stick to the question. The question, I'm going to let you go.
Yes.
I think, for me, it won't hurt Canelo's legacy, right? I've seen Canelo do a lot of great things. I've seen him be the smaller guy and boxing these guys, and then now I'm these bigger dudes, I'm chasing them down. I've seen the stuff that he's done. I can't take that away from Canelo. If he loses a fight to somebody that's not as good as him.
You still don't want to see him stay around too long, man. Because like I said, I mean, the thing with Roy, I mean, I'm not counting anything after.
But that's boxing though, right? Dre, that's boxing.
Huh? Yeah.
So real quick.
But this pride and ego in his boxing game. This pride and ego in his boxing game.
Really he started losing fights. Let's start going. Tyson, he started losing fights. All these great dudes y'all want to talk about?
Yeah, like on the back end.
They all, and they lose.
Joe Louis wound up in professional wrestling. I mean, that happens as guys. And back then, it wasn't a cool, fun thing to do. It was like an embarrassment, right? That's what happens to fighters when they get older, especially. And this is not Canelo's case, but you know, you run through the money, and you do what you can for money.
Yeah. Look, I think there are two different things we're talking about here. One is, are we, the boxing fans, the boxing guys, going to take credit away from Canelo or Roy? And I think the answer to that is no. But what I think I'm talking about is when you talk about legacy, it's perception, it's public perception. I think about now the sad sight of seeing Roy Jones mocked by Joe Calzaghe. Do I think Jones would beat Calzaghe in their primes? Of course, but I can't take that memory out of my head.
That's a good point, though.
But I'm going to keep the image of the Roy that I
But you know who's susceptible to not doing that? Shady McCoy.
Why is that?
Because when I explained to you about Roberto Duran lost one non-title fight against Esteban de Jesus, who turned out to be a great fighter, on points. And then he avenged that loss twice by knockout to unify the lightweight title. Made 12 title defenses, fought like 10 non-title fights a year, was something like 70-something and won when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard in Sugar Ray Leonard's prime, 2 divisions above lightweight, and beat him. Right? Now, at that point, Duran cemented his legacy. However, after No Mas, he lost to Kirkland Lang. He lost to Wilfred Benitez. Benitez you could lose to. Kirkland Lang you can't lose to if you're Roberto Duran. And when I told you that, hey, but Duran was so great that he wound up beating Iran Barkley at super middleweight and knocked him down in the fight of the year, that Duran was so great, he did X, Y, and Z. You're like, yeah, but he lost to this guy and that guy and that guy. No. That's a thing that people like you
it was more of
hold against him.
You gave me all these excuses. Well, he's not ashamed he made it. I don't want to hear none of that.
Same thing.
The point is, at a certain point, he was no longer at his best. Duran, after the first Sugar Ray Leonard fight, was never the same. He beat Davey Moore at the Garden. He knocked him out on his 32nd birthday to win the junior middleweight belt. Yeah, he beat Barkley, like I said. He still had a lot in him, but he was not Duran anymore. He was he went toe-to-toe with Hagler, 15 rounds, lost close. But that's not Roberto Duran anymore. That's what I'm saying. But still, guys like you will hold it against him.
I was more frustrated when they ran it back, him and Sugar Ray, and they ran it back, and he said no mas. That means like you don't want to fight no more. You quit.
Look, I was like, I have another angle on this.
I can put a stay in it.
I have another angle on this. What's that? If Canelo looks bad, like really bad, and it doesn't hurt his legacy so much.
It helps blood Crawford out.
No, it hurts Crawford's legacy.
No, it don't. No, it don't.
No, it don't.
Wait a minute. Wait, no one's a bigger Bud Crawford fan than me, right? I love Bud Crawford. But guys,
how?
Because Crawford's most signature win on the biggest stage, pound for pound, the whole thing, was against Canelo.
Okay.
Now, you might make the argument, well, Crawford beat the fight out of Canelo. However,
Canelo was the favorite going into that fight.
But he was trending down. And if it looks like he was past his prime when he fought Crawford, because the very next fight he looks terrible, people will point like Mike Coppinger.
You can't do that.
Haters like Coppinger will use it against him.
I never do that. I never do that for one good reason. Because I picked Canelo, I don't like to take credit after the fact.
I see. Okay.
So I would never go in that way.
Okay, Mike Coppinger. But the other Mike Coppinger, little Mike Coppinger, growing up watching him on TV.
Yeah, I don't know why you picked Canelo. But anyway, real quick. The narrative might be every time Crawford faces a big-time opponent,
they're never the same.
They never the same. I don't care about no car accidents, all that. Errol Spence was still beating dudes. Yeah. He fought Crawford, real quick, Crawford, and his career has been bad lately. Okay, now we fight the big Canelo, big bad Canelo. I was at the fight with you. We had a great time.
We had a great time.
He beat the hell out of him. And now Canelo might not be the same.
Go ahead.
You just made Max's point for him. I saw Max's face and he knew it. Because you know what? If Errol Spence comes back this year,
he playing chess?
If Errol Spence comes back this year and looks amazing, guess what? That even strengthens Crawford's win even further. Right. So that's what Max is saying.
But this is what I'm saying. You're right. And by the way, it won't stop me from evaluating Crawford the way I evaluate him, top 10 pound for pound of all time, because I have eyes, right? And I saw him his whole career. He never ducked anybody. He never was really in danger of losing a professional fight. Definitely. He had every tool a fighter wants. He's one of the greatest ever, no question. However, the Crawford haters will be able to say, no, it's not that Spence. Yes, Spence was still winning fights, but not like he was before the accident.
Yeah,
that is true.
Of course.
You have to acknowledge when someone, even if you don't like their argument, makes a true point. That's a true point. Canelo was not looking as good in the 2 or 3 fights before Crawford as he did 3 or 4 years before then. That is a true fact. That's a statement, right? That is true. You can't. So if Canelo looks bad now, the haters, of which I am not one with Crawford, will point out something that we will not be able to just dismiss, which is he beat a post-prime.
I just think that, like, that's why Crawford won't come out of retirement for these reasons around. Because every time I beat somebody, it's like I can't win.
He can't win.
He told Canelo, he said Errol Spence said the same thing, and I stumped the moho in his ass, right? Yeah. And then we move on. Then you gonna be the next one, because they say I don't fight nobody. But after I fight you, they don't beat nobody.
Yeah.
And I believe that because now we have the narrative. Well, they were on a decline when he fought him, but every fight he had, he was almost the underdog.
And this is why the Boots fight
He was
won't
the favorite
happen.
against Spence.
Exactly.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
I bet on that fight.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Maybe not when you bet, but then you could people like you could bet him into a favorite.
It's just my thing is like, when do you get credit for something? Like, you say this guy's the big time dude, and everybody wanted to see Canelo, and I did everything that Canelo can do nothing with me.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you when you get credit. When you're Muhammad Ali and you represent so much money because you're such a big draw, that Foreman in his prime will fight you. He was 40-0 with 37 knockouts. He destroyed Frazier. He destroyed Norton. And then you knock that guy out?
Yeah.
No one can say anything, right? Crawford was not Sugar Ray Leonard or Oscar De La Hoya, where he represented everyone's biggest payday.
Yeah.
So he couldn't force these guys to fight him, right? Yeah. So his resume is thinner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is, right? That's different than Floyd, who when Floyd left lightweight, he picked and chose when he fought guys. Crawford never did that.
Never did that.
But because Floyd was the money guy, he still got more names in.
Yes, sir.
Right?
This boxing thing is tricky, on.
The fight game, baby.
This is why the Boots fight will never happen. Because if Crawford fights Boots and wrecks him, and then Boots doesn't look so good because Crawford actually did beat it out of him.
So he's not going to get credit. Said the same thing.
Yeah, it's just looking at it from different points of view. For those watching on YouTube, head over to DAZN and catch the rest of the show. Coming up, Virgil Ortiz Jr. files suit.
Get the lawyers.
Golden Boy.
Get the lawyers.
Not the De La Hoya that said I was.
We're going to break it down because Oscar had plenty to say about you when you asked Virgil a question.
He said, I'm the football guy, huh?
This is Inside the Ring.
On DAZN, the fights never stop. 2026 kicks off with a stacked schedule to start the year.
It has never been bigger for any fighter in the history of this country. Let's get ready to rumble!
Every week, it's on. So take your seat and join us ringside. The undisputed global host